Hello, welcome back to the podcast, How to Play the Game of College. Guys, where we talk everything about college. And y'all, I'm so excited. We are in season 3, part 2, and we have some very exciting guests on a weekly basis. But today, y'all, I'm super excited about this guest. I call her a friend, someone who inspires me in this space of talking and motivational speaking and all the things that she does. She has a nonprofit. I don't want to take away your shine. So I want to just go ahead and welcome you. Summer Owens, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me, Sean. It's an honor and a privilege, and I'm super excited for you and all that you're doing. Excited to be here.
No. And we're going to talk all about you today and all the great things that you're doing. So again, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Okay. And so if you could, Summer, folks see you now, you're speaking all over the country. You're inspiring so many individuals. You have your nonprofit. You have a lot of different hats that you're wearing, right? Can you go back now, memory lane, real quick, and just kind of talk about how did you get to 2025 Summer Owens? And and the hard part about it in the elevator speech. So
Sure.
what it is.
So first of all, who is 2025? Yeah, it's exciting. It's interesting, and I'm glad that you asked me that question. Don't know exactly how to answer because I could go back, and I know this is focused on college students,
Yeah.
students working or watching this, and I could go
Yeah.
back to that, and I think maybe we will in some of the questions. But my journey to where I am right now,
Mhm.
it began in high school.
Okay.
And because that's when I became a mom at 15 years old in high school.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
went to college at the University of Memphis, and I was a mom in college, but I made very deliberate choices while I was in college that led me to the career that I had as a marketing professional, and then ultimately writing my book about my life, publishing that in 2010, which led me to my speaking career. Speaking, coaching, consulting is what I do now. And
Right.
so those choices and those opportunities along the way are what got me to being to where I am now, where I use my life and my story of being
Mhm.
a teen mom and what I experienced and choice I made through college and my career to share with other people so that they can be successful in spite of their challenges too. So that's the
Yeah.
elevator speech.
Yeah, and we would definitely talk about a few of those things. And I guess we could start off with how, because you're not from Memphis, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so how did you come to Memphis? How did you select the University of Memphis? In the book, we talk about college fit, and right, and it's the start for a college student to really select the right institution that's good for them. And right now, we have so many. We have community colleges, we have 4 year, we have HBCUs. The list goes on and on. How
Sure.
did you select the University of Memphis?
It's interesting you even asked me that question because of something I just did or experienced. So Dr. Donald Carson, the
Yeah,
vice
yeah.
president of student affairs at the
Mhm.
University of Memphis back then, it was in 97,
Okay.
and he and a team came to Jackson, Tennessee, which is where I'm from, and met with a group of students. I never will forget that event. I don't even remember why I was invited to the event. I was at the top of my class, so I think they met with some of the people at the top of the class.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
remember him coming to that event, and I had visited other schools, MTSU, look, your school,
Yeah. Yeah.
and several other schools in Tennessee. I was a teen mom, and so I had limited my choices to Tennessee. Although at one time I wanted to go far away.
Yeah. Same
This
here.
when I was a mom. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, let me stay in Tennessee. But he came, and I remember the team coming, and I met with them. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll consider University of Memphis. I'll still consider MTSU and TSU and other schools too. And
Okay.
then I came to visit the campus. And I
Mhm.
never will forget, I'm just walking around the campus with other students, and he came up to me, Dr. Carson, and he
Okay.
said, "Hi, Summer." That meant something to me.
Mhm.
He remembered her name. "How's Jalen?" That's my son.
Wow. Okay.
He and that felt good, and it felt
Mhm.
good when I was on campus if I felt I'm
Right.
supposed to be here.
Okay. Okay.
I
Yeah.
felt like I'm supposed to be here. I felt like I was gonna be taken care of and people cared
Mhm.
about me. Me being, I was young, just like any other
Yeah.
person going to college usually, and I was a teen mom. I felt the need to go a place where I felt safe, where I felt like the people there cared about me, and
Mhm,
it just
mhm.
felt right. I never felt that any of the other schools that I visited.
Wow. I love how you said, just having that sense of belonging. And, we talk about that in a book. And I always tell people, you will know when you get on a college campus. I think that's why tours are so important, or going to recruitment events where you really get a chance to like talk to faculty, talk to staff. That's an opportunity to really ask the questions that you want to ask and know if it's the correct fit. You don't want to get somewhere you don't feel like you belong there. You're ready to go home. You probably won't stay with it, and so I love how you saying, "Hey, they knew me by name. They knew my son's name, and I just felt like I belong." And you just took off from there. We talk a lot in the book about engagement, right? Being involved when you get on a college campus. How important do you feel that was for you and really helping you to shape, your career and to get you to 2025?
Everything, Sean.
Okay.
Everything. So, as you know, I speak to college students too, and that's one thing that I think is even though I was a teen mom, I had my child on campus with me, it still was crucially important for me to be
Mhm.
involved. So,
Okay.
came to college, I came on the Emerging Leader Scholarship, and I earned that
Mhm.
scholarship because I was so active and involved in high school. And
Okay.
so, involvement is always something that's been important to me no matter what my schedule or my life looked like. So
Mhm.
coming to the University of Memphis, it was a requirement as part of the scholarship to be involved in a certain number of organizations and move up into leadership in those organizations over
Okay.
the years. And so I joined everything I could think of in
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
freshman year. Even as a mom, my son was people will tell you, my son was in the meetings with me, at the events with me, everything.
Yeah.
But being a part of those organizations immediately gave me connections to so many people
Mhm.
that I am still connected to this day.
Right.
And one of the stories that, I always think about is when I used to work for the Memphis Grizzlies, and when I was then I went to Service Master. I had an interview with FedEx, and I never will forget when I went to the interview, I heard Summer Owens, like, down the hall.
Right.
Drew Bailey, who was
Okay. Yeah.
somebody who I knew from college years
Yeah.
ago, who I
Mhm.
not just knew from college, but knew from being active and involved. He was Alpha, I'm AKA. We were both
Yeah.
student government and different activities and
Mhm.
organizations together. So not only did he know me, he knew my work and he
Right.
work ethic.
Mhm.
Then
Mhm.
fast forward to when I'm leaving the interview, I hear silence. Somebody else, her name's Kirsten,
Okay.
Brassfield, somebody else who I knew from being involved with the organization called Up Till Dawn. We helped to start this
Yeah.
organization,
Yeah.
had seen
That's
her
cool.
since college,
Okay.
and this is almost 10 years after, right? So,
Yeah.
though not only did it give me relationships in college that helped me to get through college, because
Right.
although I did well academically, it was the activities and the involvement and being involved in creating events and stuff that helped
Right.
me
Exactly.
enjoy college, to wanna stay there, to wanna be there,
Right.
develop my leadership skills, also develop my portfolio. I never will forget when I started working for the Memphis Grizzlies,
Mhm.
I was working in sales. I did not wanna work in sales. That's a whole story I talk about in my book,
Okay.
but I
Yeah.
wanted to work in marketing. Well, I had a portfolio of marketing stuff that I had
Okay.
done for all these organizations I was involved in, press releases I had written, collateral I had created, all these different things that I had done that I was able to show. I had marketing experience, and I also did
Mhm.
an internship, well, a marketing internship that was part of that portfolio. So, I
Okay.
think it's crucially important. I think if you want to
Yeah.
be in college in terms of enjoying your experience, in terms of making relationships and laying a foundation to build your career, you have to get involved in at least one organization.
So true, so true. I'm so glad you said that, from the networking component, as you mentioned, developing those skills, they all just kind of go hand in hand, right? And so, of course, in the book, we talk about not only just going to class, but really going to college, really getting the most out of your experience. And so, a lot of times, Summer, we know, and I think we are similar, right? We have those pretty big personalities. We could talk to anybody. What would you say maybe for the opposite student, right, that's coming to a U of M or MTSU? It's super shy. They don't want to, talk as much. Any advice to that person to really help them get there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think you also know too, I teach a course at the University of Memphis. I taught
Yeah.
for several years, in part. of that, if a requirement for my students was to find an organization, get involved in.
Okay.
That was an assignment. And
Yeah.
so, of course, I had students because everybody's different. So, of course, I had students who were, reluctant to do that.
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
one, like, sometimes you feel like you don't have time, right? And so we address
Mhm.
that. How do you make that? You make it a priority. You
Yeah.
build into the
Yeah.
your schedule. You find an organization that fits not just your time, but also your
Mhm.
personality. So if you are
Right.
that student oh, maybe you don't easily talk to people and you don't really like to be around, maybe you're really introverted. There is an organization for you. Your
Right.
job
Mhm.
is to find that
Mhm.
organization, find
Mhm.
your
Mhm.
people, and, and it can be tied to because I never was a part of organizations that were tied to my major, but
Okay.
but I've tied my major into those organizations.
So
So
true.
it's
Yeah.
marketing, and so every organization requires some aspect of marketing. So I was able to do that. But maybe your major is accounting.
Okay.
Okay, so accountants typically are more introverted, right? And there are
Mhm.
organizations for accounting students, right?
Right. Yep.
Join
So
an
true.
organization with people who have a similar major to you, a similar interest to you. It doesn't matter what your personality is.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
could find an organization to fit. And if you don't know how, there are resources on every college campus to
Right.
help you find that organization.
Exactly.
There's a
Exactly.
whole office, I know, on
Right.
every campus that say, "Hey,
Right.
I wanna get involved. I need this. This is who I am. This is how I am. This is what I need. Help me." And there are
Right.
plenty of people who will help you find that organization that fits exactly who you are and what you need.
So true. So true. And again, like you said, most colleges have over 100, organizations. So there's something out there for everyone. I love how you said that. But just asking, I start off the book with just ask for help. We don't know it all. I'm a first generation college student. I didn't know anything, right? And so I stayed in, director, whoever office at the time. I need help. I need, money for this. I need support, and there's always opportunities on a college campus, but you just gotta ask for the help. So definitely, definitely so true.
You realize, because
Yeah.
I was a teen mom, right? So I needed
Yeah.
help. I had people in these organizations, and I talk about this in my book, in these
Yeah.
organizations I was involved in.
Mhm.
SAC, Student Activities Council, was one of my main ones. The director of SAC she actually babysat my son sometimes. He
Wow,
spent the
wow.
night with her. When I had tests and I needed to study,
Yeah.
go home with her.
Man. So
Sometimes too, he would stay in the office. She would have her secretary
right.
watch him when I had to go to class. There
Uh-huh.
people wanna see you succeed. That's the
So
thing.
so true.
People they won't be on a college campus. They won't be working on a college campus if they don't really care about
So
who's
true.
succeeding.
So
So,
true.
don't be afraid to ask for help because people are excited to help. It's like, "Look at I do
Exactly.
this
So
student
true.
wants help."
Yeah.
So, pull in all the resources, try to help them. That's how
Right, right. So glad you said that. Let's go a little deeper. I know you just mentioned, being a teen mom. I got the opportunity. I know Jalen personally. He was at a summer program I led at the University of Memphis back in the day. We won't say the year, but back in the day. A lot of times we talk to, teenagers that are now in high school, and it's always, a reason why they feel they can't do something. And college is usually their number one thing. Like, I can't go to school. Like, I got kids. I got a full-time job. I don't have the support of my mom. They said I need to just go work and waste my time with college. What would you say? Like, how did you navigate, right? Having a kid, college. I know you talked a little bit about the support element from, different leaders on campus. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so I think it starts with your why. And
Mhm. Mhm.
understanding I see your why and your what, right? So
Okay.
for me, because I coulda easily said that I
Yeah.
moved away. My family doesn't even live here. So I
Mhm.
moved to Memphis from Jackson, and so that immediately cut off my family from quickly supporting me. It's an hour away, but an hour
Right.
is too far for a babysitter for me to go to class.
Right.
Babysitter for me to go to work, and I didn't get it.
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
weren't coming here like that. But my why was I want to make it. I want to be able to take care of myself. I want to be independent. I don't want to rely on welfare. I don't want to rely on my mom or my dad or anybody else to take care of me. I want to take care
Yeah.
of myself. I want to take care of my child. And for me, I saw the path was I had to get an education.
Uh-huh.
I have
Mhm.
to get an education, I work with young people too through the foundation and the other work that I do. I understand that means different things to different people.
Yeah.
this is specifically about college.
Mhm.
For me, I understood a college degree was gonna give me so many more options for my life.
Right.
And I'm
Mhm,
like,
mhm,
"I want
mhm.
options." And so and then the what part was like, I'm like, I can see myself in an office.
Right. Mhm,
You know,
mhm.
that was when everybody went to offices all the time. I could see myself in an office.
Right.
I could see myself making decisions. I could see myself changing situations and helping other people. And I'm like, I could see it. I'm like, what's the path to that?
Yeah, yeah,
And then I thought about it. I'm like, okay, 4 years. I had just finished 4 years of high school that went by so fast.
Right.
So
Mhm,
4
mhm.
more years didn't
Right.
so bad to me.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I had already figured I had done 2 years, and I had my son when I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I can
Right.
do this." And I for real, and this is and I hope everybody who watches this,
Yeah.
please, like, you make a decision on what you want to have, you'll figure out all the how.
so true,
So true. Yes.
Getting a degree and all the other things are gonna get worked out, and they did, and it was
Right.
whatever. I found plenty of people on campus. Even like I said, the director of student activity,
yeah,
people I
yeah,
never imagined would be trying to help me. So
wow,
many I have plenty of people, and I wanna say this too, even
Yeah.
to this day, there are plenty of people in your life who won't help you, who are
So true.
supposed to help
Yeah.
you, who you
Right.
just know will help you, and then they don't.
Mm.
I
Mhm,
got
mhm.
plenty of those stories, and so you get mad, you can get bitter, you can get angry, or you can be like, "Okay, who does wanna help me?"
So true. Yeah. Yeah.
Then let me just lean into those people, and so that's how I did it. It's like and then you figure out time management skills, you be open, like you said, to learning, you be open
Right.
to getting the help
Mhm.
and just being coachable, and you can do
Right.
anything you wanna do. I was a full-time student, even some semesters I took 20 hours, I remember that.
Wow.
yeah,
And I did a full-time internship at Hilton Hotels Corporation, full-time.
Man.
And I was involved in all these different organizations, and like I said,
Mhm,
the first year you get involved in a bunch of 'em, then you become like a committee chair, then you become president, and I
mhm,
did that
mhm.
each year, it just went up and up and up, and so I was involved on campus, I had a job, I was
Man.
and I went to
Yeah.
class, I did my academics. So
Yeah.
and I'm not special. Yeah, I'm hard worker, but I'm
Mhm,
not
mhm.
special. I have not done anything that other people can't do, and I can,
So true.
just like your book and what I do, we can show you
Mhm.
how to do it. But it's
Right.
about being coachable, getting the help, and being
Right.
open to learning. Absolutely. Do it.
man. You said so many great things right there. I'm like taking notes myself for myself. But like you said, it really goes back to the drive, right? You'll figure out the why. And again, so many times where it's so easy to create why we can't do something. But like you said, really focus in like, why can't I? Right. And I figured it out. And, God gives us the resources along the way, the people, the support, the places, all those great things that you just mentioned. So yeah, definitely thank you for sharing that. I guess the next question, many folks, of course, go to college to get a job, a career, right? And so when we think about, I know you started off, like I said, marketing, you worked at Grizzlies, you've been a service master, FedEx, and then you made this jump to something totally different, right? Which I know that could be a part two for the interview, literally. Uh, but I guess like just kind of the basics. How did you decide, going back to U of M, on your major? That's one of the biggest things that students, they get there, they may change their major 2 or 3 times, right? They're trying to figure out, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? Any advice for that student who might be undecided or trying to figure out?
Sure. So I went into school undecided. I remember going
Okay.
through orientation undecided.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Right.
I'm like, I kind of want to do
Yeah.
architecture.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like marketing was one of my choices. I liked interior design and graphic design.
Some all of it, right?
I was like, I don't know. And so I knew creative, like there was some creative aspect. But I talked to my advisor. I talked to the
Mm.
advisor and
Okay.
and I know, and look, I graduated from college in 2001. I went in 97. So we're coming up on a long time. Long
I mean, see them the years. I was gonna let you.
I'm like, oh my gosh, this was in 1997.
Yeah, yeah.
This is in 1997. Sean, oh my God. But I say that to say that was then. There's so many more resources now, right? There's so
Yeah.
many more tools or evaluation that can help you lead you to understanding what the different majors are. And there's so many different more majors now, even, right? So I'm
Right.
in undecided, so it's no problem to go in undecided, but do the work to get decided, right?
Right.
Do the work to get decided to understand what majors are out there, what does fit, and don't beat yourself up if you do change your major.
So true.
Two thoughts I have on that actually, like,
Yeah.
don't beat yourself up if you do change your major, and it it's important to make a decision on the major and do the work, but also if you gotta change it, just change it and keep moving.
Right.
It delays your graduation.
Yeah.
Just make the decision and do what you feel is best. Weak
Right.
advice, use it again to help.
Mhm.
The other thing is at the end of the day, depending on what your major is, most of the time what's most important is that you get that degree.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is
So
that
true.
you get that degree. And so
Yeah.
so just to focus on completing college. And you can always take other classes. You can also do
Yeah.
to get more specialized knowledge in a specific area, but it is most important that you get that degree. Uh,
Right.
for me in choosing my major, like I said, I knew it was in a creative field, and then just doing assessments and talking to people, I was like,
Right.
okay, I should get a business degree. And but what's the
Mhm.
creative side of business? It's marketing.
Marketing. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's how I chose my degree.
And Summer, you intern a lot too, right?
I interned at Hilton Hotels Corporation. So I actually was a part of Inroads.
Oh,
You
yes.
know that program?
Mhm. Mhm.
So when I was in high school, I got selected for Inroads, and when I moved to Memphis, and here I tell this story too, because this might help somebody. With
Yeah.
Inroads, how Inroads works is I think it's the top 10% of the class, and you get to interview for a job or internship. Well, if
Okay.
you
Yeah.
get the internship, then you're part of Inroads. If you don't get it, then you're not.
Wow.
So I
Okay. Didn't know that.
interviewed for a job. It was at a bank. I can't remember which bank it was, but
Mhm.
so did one of my best friends.
Okay.
She got it. I did.
Oh,
Okay.
She got it, I didn't, which meant I wasn't a part of Inroads. And
Okay.
so I was really blessed though because they saw me and how hard I
Mhm.
was working. And look, I have to shout her out. It's Rhonda Spencer, who is my
Yeah.
first lady at
Wow.
was working for Inroads.
Okay.
And so she reached out to me. At this point, I'm a freshman at the University of Memphis, and that's not how they work. I don't know how they
Mhm.
work now, but
Okay.
I'm out. But she reached out to me and said, "Summer, would you interview for a position here in Memphis?" And gave me
Right.
a second chance of being a part of Inroads. And I interviewed at it was Promise Hotels Corporation, which is now Hilton.
Okay.
And I interviewed there, and I got the job. And so for the rest of my college career, I interviewed. I interned with Promise with Hilton.
man, that's great. And like, I love how so many connections, and it keeps kind of going back to like
Full circle, right? Like
asking for help, people that want to help you to succeed, right? They see you. Like it's so many things coming out this interview that I know a lot of students are taking a lot of notes, and hopefully I know they are inspired by what you're saying. So definitely thank you for sharing that. Summer, we are almost at the end.
so much
Oh,
more to share.
right. I know. That's why I said we need a part 2 and 3 as we move forward. But I guess the last question I want to ask you, right, is that student parents who may be looking at this interview. Again, you have done so many great things that have inspired so many people across the nation. And I say that to say, because I'm one of those people. I tell you that all the time, but I'm like, one of the goals, looking at your book back in the day, and it's still just moving on. I know I'm going to have you to shout that out towards the end, speaking all over the country and really just motivating people. But, there's so many folks that just feel like they just can't do it, right? And, especially when we look at the youth here in Memphis, there's so many who, they just have given up. They fell down and they have literally stayed down. Is there any piece of advice that you could say, hey, yeah, I have all these things I've done, but there's been many falls along the way. What kept you getting up?
Man, Sean. So that's why I like having this stuff in the background because
Yeah. Yeah.
it always keeps me encouraged and inspired because these are
Mhm.
things that I've accomplished, things that I've done.
Yeah.
That it reminds me when I have my moments that I'm down, when I have my moments that I'm not doing well, and I have them all the time. I'm an entrepreneur now. That's the hardest life ever. Uh,
Right. Yes.
teeny
More gray
failure.
hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Many, many failures, and I even that's why I even wrote my first book up there is
Yeah.
because I was a mentor at the adolescent parenting program, And those are the teen moms, or school for teen moms, and they
Mhm.
saw me as like, "Oh, you don't get it. Yeah, you had a kid, but you got a nice car, you got a nice house." And I was like, "Oh, no,
Mhm.
I got a journey in the store."
Right. Exactly.
Always had these things,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
being where I am, there are always challenges. There are
Mhm.
always
Mhm.
challenges, but then you have to have the reminders like, "Oh, you've been through challenges before, but then you got that.
Man.
Another challenge, and then you got that. You went through
Mhm.
that challenge,
Mhm.
and you know what? Those challenges taught me lessons, and they made me
True.
stronger."
So
And
true.
so it starts with the mindset, right? And so instead of being like, "I can't,"
Right.
it's like, I remember one time when I thought I couldn't, but then I did.
Mhm.
And so
So
this
true.
time right now, when I'm thinking I can't, I gotta remind myself, "Yes, I can." But I have to
Mhm.
figure out, again, the help and the resources, and to figure it out, because I believe that I can do anything. And I know
Right.
everybody doesn't believe that, but I can
Mhm.
remember even back to high school when,
Right.
and this is an important lesson. I was a teen mom. I was the only teen mom in my group of friends.
Mhm.
There's
Mhm.
only a few in the whole school. It was a different
Right.
world then,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I got looked down on. I was judged. But the people I chose as my friends, they were all going to college.
Right, right.
I was not gonna be the one who didn't.
So true.
Even though
So
it said
true.
a legitimate excuse, I had
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
reason, but I was like, "No, I'm not gonna be the one." So my point is, surround yourself with people who are doing what you know you can do, or what you know, or
Right.
what you want to do, or feel like you can do. Become friends
Exactly.
with them anyway. They can show you that you can.
So true.
Show
So
that
true.
you can. They will, just surrounding yourself, and that's at any age. Just
Mhm. Mhm.
surround yourself with positive people who believe in themselves and who believe in you and are trying to do positive and productive things. If you
Right.
don't, then you end up doing the same thing that they're doing, which is not
So
positive,
true.
not productive.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna look up and you're gonna be 30 years old, 40 years old, thinking about,
Yeah.
I could have, I should have.
So true.
You
Yeah.
will. But
Right.
the main thing is, I never, and hopefully, and it took me a time to get to this place, but I
Mhm.
never
Mhm.
felt like I can't.
Yeah.
Let me change that. There were moments when I had doubt, but
Right.
I had to remind myself, "You've done hard things. You've done harder things, and whoever's going
Right.
to trust and believe whatever you're down yourself about now is, you've done harder things. You've overcome harder things. You might
Right.
know how to do this thing, but somebody does.
Mm-hmm. So
So you gotta do is ask for help."
man, Summer, I could just drop the mic right there, literally. Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Look, I'm inspired to keep running on. So again, just thank you for all the great work that you're doing. Summer, if folks want to learn more, I know you got several books, you got speaking engagements, you have events, you got a nonprofit. How can they find out more about you and the many different things that you have going on?
So first of all, please connect with me. I love
Yeah.
people. You know that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I love talking to people. I want to be a resource. I want to help. I want to give any advice that I can. My name is my website, summerowens.com, and there are links to my foundation there, to my
Yeah.
social media, to everything at summerowens.com.
Got you. And we'll make sure to include the link in the YouTube podcast interview as well. So definitely to our viewers, make sure you watch the video, make sure you share, make sure you comment. Summer just told you she loves to talk. And so she's gonna be watching this video, making comments under it, replying back to your comments. So with that being said, guys, make sure you tune in next week. We have another great guest. Summer, thank you so much for taking the time out to be with me today.
It's an honor and a privilege, and keep up the amazing work show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.